shit.
I'm searching for a reason. My mind is on a journey, but I'm quickly running out of time. Storm is rising on my horizon. My fate is coming at the speed of light.
Stranger of Paradise Final Fantasy Origins is one of the most fun messes I've ever played, so I wanted to talk about it. This game is based on the original Final Fantasy game that came out way back when on the NES, and it was supposed to serve as like the 35th anniversary of the franchise, and was released as a dark retelling of that game. Now, even though this is a Square Enix franchise, and they were the ones who did the publishing for this game, but instead this was developed by Team Ninja, who have made cool game series like Neo, Ninja Gaiden, and Dead or Alive Extreme, just to name a few. And you can tell they developed this game because it has a very action-packed combat. You can do stuff like block, hit, move, dodge. They also integrated the magic system for Final Fantasy, like you have your spells of Fyra, Blizzard, Thunder, and the other shenanigans. And again, implemented in this action-packed situation. And because this game is supposed to be a little bit darker and grittier and edgier, they have this execution mechanic, like the enemies have a stamina bar, and after so many hits you gotta break that bar, and you can see this very cool cinematic execution style attacks. And actually, that feels really good. Like the sound effect, the impact, like it feels good when you do those executions, so it's very fun. A cool aspect as well of the gameplay is that you can also change equipment, and each equipment you can see it reflected on the character. That's very cool. You can see the weapons they're wearing, you can see the armor, the boots, the helmet. If you want, you can also choose to not see the helmet, but it's very cool. I really like when RPGs in general, or any games in general, add the option to like have those things you equip as something you can see as well in the character. It's not needed in every game, but when it's done, it's like, oh, that's a nice detail. And because it's Final Fantasy, there are also classes you can change to. You know, you have your classic like warrior, mage, cleric, monk, among many others, and there's a lot of variation of classes, and that actually help refreshing the gameplay a lot when it comes to action game. I like it when there's a lot of variety on combos and what you can do and techniques, so I feel like that keeps the action combat fresh. When you can unlock more things to do, it adds a lot more fun to the gameplay, so you can pick and choose what is the best playstyle for you. Now, those are the core aspects of the mechanics of the game. Oh, right. When it comes to item drops, if you have played Neo, they have that same system where whenever you defeat an enemy, they just drop a lot of materials and equipment that you can easily pick up, but then it can easily clutter your inventory. There is an auto-dismantle system that you can implement as well, but yeah, it's still very much like item spam whenever you defeat any enemy, any mob. Yeah, that's the gameplay, which is again, fun, cool, amazing. But now, what is Stranger of Paradise Final Fantasy Origins? Well, on paper, this is supposed to be a reimagine of the very first Final Fantasy game. You know, the one with the 4 Warriors of Light, Crystals, Garland, Chaos, all that foundational JRPG stuff. Except that instead of getting some faithful retelling, Square Enix and Team Ninja looked at that simple 1987 story and said, what if we made it deeply edgy? Make the heroes super moody, and have him say the word chaos a lot for some reason. And I'm not exaggerating, like, roll the clip.
My mission is to kill Chaos. When are we gonna fight Chaos? Chaos, 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 chaos.
And to be fair, he's not the only one. Everybody else also seems to be in love with that word.
Chaos. Chaos.
Chaos. Chaos.
Chaos.
Chaos. Chaos. Chaos. Chaos. Chaos. Chaos.
Chaos. Chaos. Chaos. Chaos. Chaos. Chaos.
Chaos.
Chaos.
Chaos. Chaos.
Chaos.
Chaos.
Chaos. Chaos.
Chaos.
Chaos.
Chaos. Chaos. Chaos. Chaos.
Chaos.
Chaos and chaos.
Chaos. Chaos.
Chaos.
Chaos.
But we'll get into more details about that once it's playing the game, because it is a central figure, the concept of chaos, but we'll talk about that more later. So the game starts with this hero whose name is Jack, just, you know, Jack, very average name. He's a man with a one goal, as I've said before, chaos, specifically, you know, kill chaos. He will bring it up in conversations that have nothing to do with it.
What? Need something for that?
It's just a scratch. Nothing a little spit can't heal. When are we gonna fight Chaos?
It is kind of funny the way that some people are talking and he blatantly just ignores it, be it his companions or a villain giving a speech. He just interrupts him and it's like, okay, but Chaos. Literally, someone will be mid-sentence about anything else and Jack will just walk away because it's not about Chaos.
Hey. You might not like this, but you know I like to speak my mind.
Let's go.
Jack travels with his party, which consists of Ash, who's basically the stoic older brother type, who's really had the toxic conversation with Jack 100 times, and Jed, who is more of a happy-go-lucky, and it's like the comic relief of the party. Both of them, we'll tell up front, are on the exact same mission as Jack, to kill Chaos, though again, it is in their vocabulary, they are not as one-track mind as Jack is. All three of them just show up in Cornelia in the same place at the same time, holding a crystal in their hand. They all suffer amnesia, and the only thing to remember is that they have a mission to kill Chaos. So they go to this kingdom of Cornelia, request an audience with the king, but the king is like, I don't know if I should trust you yet, because there is a legend about warriors of light that are supposed to come in with some crystals and fix the world, but it's supposed to be 4 and they're 3, and the crystals that these people are carrying are also very pitch black, so it's like, oh, that's ominous. Why is your crystal black? All 3 of them. But anyhow, desperate time calls for desperate measures. The queen does question it for a bit and sends them for a hunting mission that it's off screen. Once they prove their strength, the king says, you know what, fine, I guess you guys can be the heroes of light or something. So go to the Kriya Shrine and kill the evil that is apparently lurking over there. While heading out, the group encounters Sarah, the princess of Cornelia, just play music for the people, because I guess that's her hobby. And you can see them looking at her, and Ash actually asks Jax like, hey, why don't you try cracking a smile for once? Oh, silly Ash. Jack only smiles when he's brutally murdering a monster. She asks him for a favor to find a missing person, some knight that disappeared a while ago, called Garland. Garland. I'm sure we'll come back to that later. After that, then they head out to the Chaos Shrine to find Chaos, and inside the shrine they find an armored figure that seems to match the description of Chaos. I mean, it's even called Chaos Advent or something like that. They fight it, they win, and it's like, oh, GG's, good game, we killed Chaos, that was easy, just 1 dungeon. But no, the game's just starting, so of course that's not the end of it. Once you kill this thing, its armor cracks open, and inside, there's a girl. Her name is Neon, and it's out she's been trying to pull her own version of this whole hero's journey. She explained that 10 years earlier, she set out to destroy Chaos too, but eventually came to believe that Chaos isn't real. It's just a myth humans invented to explain away all the random darkness in the world. So her plan was to absorb enough of that darkness to become a physical Chaos that a future brand of heroes could then defeat, essentially martyring herself into the role. But it didn't work. Jack naturally is not moved by any of this, and this is where we are introduced to one of the game's most notorious and iconic scenes that I think, like, even if you never played this game, if you were around when this game was announced or released, you should have seen this meme some way, shape, or form.
I decided to become a sacrifice. I offered myself to the darkness and prayed to become Chaos, hoping some band of heroes would defeat me and thus bring an end to this empty dream.
Bullshit.
I'm searching for a reason. My mind is on a journey, but I'm quickly running out of time. Storm is rising on my horizon. My fate is coming at the speed of light.
Yeah, I did not edit that. That is exactly how that clip plays out. I just cannot take this game seriously after that. Like, Jack is one thing, right? Like, he's edgy. He's not just like your other JRPG heroes, right? He's very unique. He's broody and moody and one-track mind to kill chaos. But this scene, that's the moment I knew this game was setting me up for something great. Serious? I don't think so. But nonetheless, very fun and great if you like suspend all your disbelief in a cohesive, proper story. Anyways, Neon decides to take along anyway because she also has a crystal which means that now we have our 4 warriors of light. They walk back to Cornelia, and on the way there, the 4 of them have a quieter, kind of unsettling conversation where they realize none of them actually remember much about their lives before showing up here. Oh yeah, because even Neon is also on amnesia, because that's another prerequisite to join the 4 Warriors of Light, I guess. No memories of who you were in the past. But Jack, ever the pragmatist, just reasons that losing your memories is probably a mercy, since it stops you from getting distracted by personal attachments, while you're busy doing your one sacred job of hunting down chaos. Pushes back on this, even though it is, in hindsight, an incredibly dark thing to just shrug off. Like, hey, just for some reason, nobody remembers anything, yet somehow we remember our names, and somehow we have this feeling about chaos. We all feel towards chaos, and like, we must end it. But yeah, you know, just don't question it. Again, not just the story of the game, but the writing is definitely something. Anyways, they would just move on from that situation. Back at the castle, the king then tasks these people to restore the 4 elemental crystals, you know, the ones wind, fire, earth, and water, which for some reason have all gone dark, I guess because chaos. But the thing is, like, even the king is with Neon and the whole thing about chaos, so he's like, hey, if you do this thing, you can say you kill chaos. Literally tells Jack, like, if you do this thing of clearing the crystals and purifying them or whatnot, then you can say you kill chaos. I don't care. Like, it's just, you know what? Again, the story, the writing. Anyways, to figure out where to even start, they're going to Pravoka, which is a poor town that's been overrun by a pirate named BK and his crew. It's a very straightforward beatdown. We go through a dungeon/cave, finally face BK, and we see more of Jack shenanigans. But like, I don't care who you are or chaos, you know, you'll get used to it. With Pravoka handled, we get pointed towards Astos, the king of the Dark Elves, who is holed up in his own castle. We beat his Black Knight, and Jack shows us a bit more of his dashing personality. Die,
Die! Die!
Our hero, everyone. After beating his Black Knight, Astos shows up and he turns out to be a friendly ally for being, you know, the king of the Dark Elves as opposed to the Light ones. I guess he wasn't so evil after all, and points the party towards the right direction to go to the Wind Crystal. Following Astos' lead, the party gets transported to the Flying Fortress, which this is generally bizarre with a high-tech space station floating above the planet. I know it's a reimagining, but you know, it's supposed to be a retelling of the original Final Fantasy, which is very medieval, and the only traces we had of like technology was on the remnants of one town, whose logic was that it was flying due to the Wind Crystal, but nothing else ever alleged to being like highly advanced to my memory. There's been a while since I played Final Fantasy 1, but I don't remember like being any traces of like super ancient technology. Anyways, it's a reimagining, I guess, so they can take all the liberties they want to change up things. Anyways, while the party's in space, they find the Wind Crystal, but it's been protected by Tiamat, one of the fiends of chaos. We beat her, and something happens that recontextualizes basically everything going forward. Tiamat reverts back to a person. I guess very similar to how Neon got back to a person after we beat the Dark Knight armor thingy, Chaos. Anyways, back to the Tiamat. After we beat the Fiend, a woman named Sophia shows up, who is supposed to be another previously defeated hero, who's been trapped in that monster form. She joins our party, making it 5, which is weird. It's supposed to be 4 Warriors of Light, but now we have 5 people. I honestly, when she joined, I was like thinking, is there gonna be a betrayal happening? But you'll see what happens instead. And now we got our first big clue that these fiends everyone just sent out to kill aren't just generic monster bosses. They used to be people, just like Jack, Ash, Jet, and Neon. Again, more on that later. From there, the crystal hunt keeps rolling. We have 2 options. We can go to get the fire crystal or the earth crystal. I think there's a difference on which one you pick first, because even the recommended levels is the same for both places. So just for the sake of the story, we'll say we went to the fire one first. We went to a volcano area, Mount Golg, where the heroes face Merilith, the Fiend of Fire, who is guarding the fire crystal. Very simple, but a very hard boss too. A lot of these fiends are actually kind of hard bosses because they have 2 phases. First phase is usually sort of simple, but the second phase it's even more aggressive. After we beat the fire fiend, then we go for the crystal of earth. Here we go to a mountain range and then to an ancient tomb where we found Lich, or Lich. How do you say that name? Leaked. Anyways, he's a fiend of earth who is guarding, well, you guessed it, the earth crystal. And this is also where we see one of my all-time favorite Jack moments.
A foolish dream. No matter how much you wish it, that season will never come. It will remain a dream so long as I live. For I
don't give a fuck who you are!
So they defeat him, and then we get more lore drops. Oh, if I haven't mentioned it before, every time you defeat one of the fiends or any big boss fight, some black mist is released, and it gets into the characters or into the crystals that the characters carry. And when that happens, they usually get some form of flashback, in which they do the thing where we hear some cryptic messaging or some distorted image and we don't understand what it means just yet until things are better explained later in the game or on a second playthrough when you're like, oh, now that is clicking, now that I know the overall plot of the game, this random word that I hear now makes sense. At some point, Astos does explain a bit about the mist. I think this is what he has to say about it.
There you are. You really should be careful of that mist. It could drag you into the past. Or worse, turn you into a monster.
Now, the last crystal on the checklist is the water crystal, and the people are kind of angry with the party about it, especially the pirates, because they're like, hey, why did you leave the water crystal for last? Like, without the water crystal, the seas are raging. Because yeah, apparently each crystal that it's out of control makes that element behave better in the world and not be chaotic. It's spreading. Even I'm using the word chaos a lot. But yeah, so like the earth doesn't shake as strongly anymore. The fire, it's still hot, but I guess it can be used for things like welding and to help people. And the wind is no longer storming. But the pirates are like, hey, why you leave the water one for last? Because the seas are raging and I thought we were homies after we met that one time. Like, what's up? Anyways, they just pay no mind to the pirates and then go to the sunken shrine where the last crystal is located. And yeah, you guessed it, another fiend. The fiend of water, Kraken. With all the 4 crystals restored, the party heads triumphantly back to Cornelia, and this is the welcome they receive.
Hey, look.
Come on, let's go. They dare show their faces.
Trusted you! It's all your fault!
For some reason, everyone in the kingdom hates them. Apparently, the darkness is even worse than before they started, so they're blaming them and saying, oh, you're not warriors of light, you're warriors of chaos. Before the heroes can properly process everybody hating on them now, chaos ensues and monsters start attacking. Also, some darkness corrupted pirates, and the one who is leading that group is Big K. Yeah, okay, well, he's back now and evil for some reason. Fortunately, that means he has to go. The party kills him, and even he doesn't understand why he began to attack, so the only thing we can assume is they're being controlled by darkness, aka chaos. But yeah, now they need to investigate where does this darkness come from. We went through all the crystals that was supposed to fix the problem, so what the heck. After that, they decide to look for some answers about the darkness, and then they see some white bats, and they are always for some reason around Astos, so they decide to follow them and find Astos to maybe get some answers. Which means they're going to a new dungeon and defeat another monster. They then unlock more of these memories as they have been slowly drip-feeding us throughout the plot every time we defeat a monster, to the point where even Jack is curious about what the memories mean. It took him, what, 2/3 of the game for him to start questioning whether he should be paying attention to these flashbacks or not. Anyways, this particular memory that made him question everything is about the crystals. He sees himself in a wet room with someone handing over the crystal, mind you, the one that the other heroes also have, and they tell him that the crystal is where his memories are stored, and that he also needs to use that crystal to absorb the darkness. And once the darkness is absorbed, then they have to go to a place to be picked up. Picked up where? Going where? Well, they just tell him Astos would know, so just go to Astos. Well, conveniently, Astos right now is in front of the party, so we start asking some questions. And this is where things started to go a little bit sus, because Sophia was like, hey Jack, do you really want to know? Do you really want answers to these questions? Basically implying that they knew more than they let on for a while now. They still have fragmented memories, but they are okay with not knowing the answers to everything. Way too okay if you ask me. Oh, and here we get the reveal that they are strangers, as in, you know, strangers in paradise. And what are strangers, you might ask? What does that even mean in the context of this game? Well,
We're strangers. That means 2 things.
One, we're strangers to this world, and two, we're strangers to ourselves.
Oh, of course that's what it means to be a stranger. They really thought to say something when they wrote that line. We're strangers to this world and we're strangers to ourselves. Okay, game. Anyways, that's all we get for now because the game loves street feeding lore, and Astos is like, you want to know more? Well, go do this thing for me. There are some strange buildings popping around. Go in them, defeat some monsters, and then I'll tell you everything you want to know. We do just that, and in one of these places, what is the color grading in this dungeon? I look so off. This game has some dark aesthetic, and I don't mean just the vibe or the architecture, but more so the color grading. For some reason, a lot of the colors in these games are muted, so when they try to bring a pop of color, it looks very off. Like this shade of yellow in this area, for example, it looks toxic. It looks, you know, it looks very off yellow. You know what I mean? We meet Astos again, and now we have some answers. Astos revealed that he's not actually the king of the Dark Elves. Astos revealed that he's not actually the king of the Dark Elves, but a Lufenian construct. And the Lufenians are otherworldly civilization the party themselves apparently came from, and he was left behind to observe and report on the balance of light and darkness in Cornelia. He then attacks the party, they beat his ass, and that unlocks another big memory for the party. There are agents created and developed by Lufenian to burn off the excess darkness that Lufenia itself keeps dumping into Cornelia in the first place. And it is not the first time they've done this. So they've been sent to Cornelia again and again, multiple times. And every time they go down to Cornelia, their memories are erased. And the reason why they get memories every time they absorb darkness, it's because their memories are stored on the dark crystals. He explains though that Lufenia is terrified of darkness because when darkness combines with genuine human emotion, it creates chaos. The one force in the universe that even they can't predict or control. That's why they've been so obsessed about managing chaos. This is where I'm like a little bit confused about this story because they don't explain a lot about why Lufenians wants to have this balance of light and darkness. What happens if there's too much light? Like what's wrong with that? Why do they need a balance? And why Cornelia specifically? I don't know, if they explained it and I missed it, please let me know. Astos also reveals something about himself. He's been quietly stockpiling darkness inside his own body for a long time, and when he eventually dies, all of darkness is going to be released across the entire world at once. It happened, so he dies, the darkness spreads, and now we go in straight forward to Cornelia. Well, the kingdom of Cornelia, again, is in shambles. Nobody can catch a break. Everything's a mess. We go to Princess Sarah, who is asking like, hey, what happened? Have you seen my dad or my mom? I haven't seen them in a bit. He's like, well, just see Jack's great emotional intelligence.
Nope. Sorry to disappoint.
He tries to get them to evacuate because, you know, hey, darkness is here. We need to get out. But the princess is like, I don't want to abandon my kingdom. I don't want to abandon my people. It's my job now to be here for them. And Jack, our hero, well, he has a very interesting response to that as well. Oh, Jack, our hero. Anyways, they take the princesses out. The people now are happy that they're here so they can get rid of the monsters. And they try to get them to evacuate. And everything seems okay. But then Jack and group make a choice to, for some reason, head outside of the town to discuss their plans. In a kingdom full of darkness, I'm sure nothing bad will happen. They go back to find again the city being attacked by monsters and overrun by darkness because the darkness never left. It was always there to just kill a few monsters and left the people there on their own. But and here the princess dies in Jack's arm. As she's dying, Jack's finally unlocked all of his memories and he remembers that two of them actually have fallen in love across the previous cycle. There's also where we get another reveal about Jack. His full name is Jack Garland, the guy who Princess Sarah asked Jack to find at the beginning of the game. Also, the main antagonist of the original Final Fantasy game. So all this time, we were led to believe this is gonna be like a reimagining of Final Fantasy 1. Instead, it was just a prequel. Still reimagining because they're taking a lot of liberties to give the villain and try to expand a bit on the lore of the world. But still a prequel, I guess. Oh. And then the game does something that I didn't see coming. And I'm like, what's happening? Why is the game doing this?
Jack!
Give in to your emotions.
Let the darkness take hold.
The only thing Lufenia fears is something it can't control.
Chaos. Are you crazy?
the rest of the party, Ash, Jet, Neon, and Sophia, start attacking Jack. And Jack is like, what the heck? Now Jack kills his friends, each and one of them, and absorb their collected darkness. I'm like, okay, so all the people we've been partying with all this whole time, I was expecting a betrayal for one of them, but not all of them jumping on Jack at the same time, and now Jack has to kill them. The game will explain it later, but you'll see once this happens. Like, there had to be a better way to do this. There had to be a better way. So yeah, Jack kills his friends. He has all this darkness inside of him, and it's almost becoming chaos. Now we reach the climax of the main story. Jack goes back to Chaos' shrine, tries to go to Lufenia with all the darkness he has absorbed, and then we fight the final boss of the game, which is Darkness Manifest, which is, I guess, the culmination of all the darkness that Jack has absorbed throughout going through the fiends, killing his friends, and the one that Astos also has collected. We beat it, and then Jax becomes basically chaos. So yeah, he ends up becoming the thing he was supposed to hunt down. When this is all happening though, the Lufenia, terrified of the whole thing that's been happening now in Cornelia and all the chaos that's been born at once, decides to sever the connection with Cornelia entirely. So they basically won't send any more strangers down to Cornelia and decide to like, hey, let me just cut my losses. F Cornelia, I don't know what we're experimenting here in the first place, and that's it. But they do warn Jack that eventually Cornelia will produce its own waters of light to destroy him. This is where they start explaining about a lot of the things that happen that doesn't make sense, but even after they explain it, I'm still like, interesting. That's the best way you could do this. So Jack is like, that's exactly what I'm counting on, basically. The time loop is still a thing, so the world still goes back into the time loop, but now in Jax is chaos, and Jet, Sophia, Neon, and Ash resurrect as well, each of them becoming one of the 4 fiends. Not only that, apparently this is something they've been planning since they saw Jack face against BK and saw how he fights. Like, oh damn, he's really good at fighting. Look at him, he's so strong. They all planned this so Jack could become Chaos, and Jack was okay with becoming Chaos because that means Cornelia would be free from Lufenia. And he puts his plan into motion with the fiends and also with somebody else that I didn't know was gonna be in on this plan to become the villain so that heroes would eventually rise. And yeah, that person who also knew about this whole situation was Sarah, the princess of the kingdom of Cornelia. They do some reveals here with her, like again, she knew Jack from another time loop and they fell in love and all that stuff. In the original Final Fantasy game, the Warriors of Light go off to rescue her because she's been kidnapped by Garland. This is something that she mentions in this game as well, like, hey, maybe you could just kidnap me, give them a reason to come to kill you. I understand the premise of it becoming the villain so the heroes would eventually rise and born to fight him, become the darkness and all that stuff, but the princess, the one who's supposed to protect her people, it's in on it. The reason why I'm confused about this is because we are shown in the intro scene and also again in the ending scene that Jack, as Chaos, goes to kidnap her, and on his way there, he kills a lot of soldiers. She was willing to make that sacrifice happen for the plot, I guess. Good for her. Look at her protecting her kingdom by allowing the soldiers to die. What a nice princess. So yeah, that was the main story of Stranger of Paradise, Final Fantasy Origins, which I guess that was a clue. It is the origins of Final Fantasy, a prequel of it. Very fun game. Like, don't get me wrong, very fun game. The gameplay is amazing. I like the gameplay. I like the way that Jack is literally a jack of all trades. He can swap to different jobs and be really good at all of them, and it depends on you how you want to play him. But the dialogue, the story, and if I have to experience the whole game, I still cannot take the plot seriously. So, but it's very fun and memeable. Of course, I feel like that's the first thing we got from the trailers, right? If you were there when that happened in the internet. There is some DLC content in this game. The first one is about Bahamut, a Final Fantasy classic that actually showed up in the first Final Fantasy game before he was established as a summon. And it had some replay value because it involves going back to the previous missions you've done. But this time you earn some bonuses that you can use to get some new equipment or some upgraded classes. There's also another DLC involving Gilgamesh, which is another Final Fantasy classic character. And also a third and final DLC involving the Emperor, which was the villain of Final Fantasy II. Oh, and there's also some scenes about the Warriors of Light trying to fight Jack. But yeah, let me know what you think of Stranger of Paradise, Final Fantasy Origins. Did you like it? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Anything in between? Let me know. Thank you for watching, and for more videos like this, remember to just like, subscribe, comment, and if you want to see me play some games, I also stream on Twitch. You can see the link in the description down below. Thank you all for watching. Until next time, bye!